Top of the morning, nice news. I told you Deion Sanders may be heading to the NFL. A lot of people said it wasn't likely. He has a contract. He wants to win his first championship as a college coach. That may be his desire. He may have said it, but the NFL is still top of the food chain. It's highly desirable. Let's hear what's going on with Deion Sanders and the Dallas Cowboys.
Replace Mike McCarthy as their head coach, but one name is already known. Former Cowboys legend and current Colorado coach Deion "Primetime" Sanders. A source said Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones and Sanders spoke on Monday. Now here's former Cowboy and Hall of Famer Troy Aikman on how desirable the job actually is.
As far as a coveted job, I don't know that that's accurate. I mean, I do think the Cowboys are obviously a high-profile team. Whoever is covered or whoever is head coach of that team is certainly going to draw a lot of attention. But I think most football people that take over as a head coach, they want to do it on their terms.
That's
and
fair.
That's hard to do. And it's, if you take a Dan Campbell, for instance, is Dan Campbell if he's with the Dallas Cowboys? It's hard to imagine that he is. It's hard to imagine that a lot of these coaches might be. So
all right. Well, what I take away from what Troy Aikman is saying is, can Deion Sanders and Jerry Jones actually operate in the same building? Can Deion Sanders be successful under an organization like the Dallas Cowboys? Jimmy is known to be on the field, known to walk around. We'll see if this would be a good situation.
I love the Dallas Cowboys. I played there for 12 years. I wish them well, but to say that it's a coveted job, I'm not sure I would necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. No one knows the Cowboys better than Troy Aikman, keeping it real. My guy, Dominique Fox.
Yeah. And I agree with Troy Aikman. I mean, Jerry Jones is everywhere on the field. He likes to be part of the attention. He likes to be on the field, in the press room, in the locker room. Is that what Deion would be prepared for? Is he open to it? I mean, he dealt with it as a player, so I would say likely yes. I mean, Deion loves the Dallas Cowboys. He spent a lot of time there, did very well for the organization, and the organization could possibly do very well for him and both his sons. Let's go back in the first take, see what they have to say.
In the house. Great to see you, sir. Thank you for joining the convo. I'll start with you. Is Dallas and that head coaching job actually a desirable one?
Yeah, so by the normal metrics, you would look at, like, who's the quarterback?
Yeah,
they got a good quarterback there. Check. You'd look at, like, do you have a good group of weapons? You got CeeDee Lamb, one of the best receivers in football. Check. Do you have someone good enough on defense to build a defense around? You got Micah Parsons. Yeah, he's that good that he can attract enough attention that you can design an entire defense around him. So all those important and difficult boxes are checked. But then you got Jerry Jones, which we're all going to get to.
Wild card.
And that's the wild card. And that's what Troy was saying. Troy had an interesting comment in there is, we understand most of our criticism, what would make this job not coveted, is because that Jerry is going to be the ultimate voice. And you're not going to have full control of that locker room. But Troy made another point also, that if you're a young coach and you are looking to grow and to become a great coach like Dan Campbell, you have Jerry there blocking out the sun.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to develop into the coach that you want to be, because before you even get to speak to the team, Jerry Jones is already doing a press conference outside the locker room. Before you even get to start training up your quarterback, Jerry's negotiating with him up until the day before the season starts. He's doing all these things that are contradictory to what you want to do as a head coach. So I think that's what makes that job not very attractive. And on top of it, there's going to be a ton of attention, and which you would normally think is a good thing, but it's not a great thing if you're not in control. At the end of these games, we're going to be blaming the coach, as we did with Mike McCarthy, as we did with Jason Garrett before him. And we'll see. Yeah, so it's a tough job to have. And
Definitely a tough job, very desirable. I think it could be fit for Deion again because he is used to this environment. He knows Jerry Jones. He's known him for over 20 years. So I think that him and Jerry can work something out where it's a win-win situation for both. They'll make tons of money, and again, his sons can be successful in this environment. Deion said a few weeks ago, I'm not following my sons into the NFL. And then a lot of people thought, okay, well, maybe he's going to stay in college. I took that to be a little different. Deion's going to lead the way into the NFL. He's going to lead them into success, how he did in Little League, how he did in high school, and how he did in college. He's going to now do this on the pro level. So going to the Dallas Cowboys, Deion, his sons, I think that it can be a good thing. Challenging as well, but definitely worth the money and the prime attention that's going to be coming.
I think that's Troy's point. So the roster, desirable. The situation, absolutely not.
Stephen A., where are you on this?
Situation is not desirable. I just think that there are certain people that are special and that can overcome whatever the situation is. And I think primetime Deion Sanders is one of those people. Now, in fairness to Prime, who I've known, Shannon, you obviously have known him for decades. You know I have. He's always been about coaching the kids. I remember when the Florida State job was open, and he was very, very interested in that job, and they wouldn't give it to him. I think it was one of the biggest mistakes they could have made. Ultimately you end up landing at Jackson State, and you're there, and you go to an HBCU, and you've done so much for them, and it's forever appreciated. But he's always been about, I bring that up, guys, because he's always been about coaching kids. He loved it when he was working on the NFL Network, when he was working on CBS before that. He was always about coaching kids. He loved it. He loved impacting and turning boys into men and stuff like that. I get that part. But I also think that Deion Sanders is the kind of person that on the NFL level, I'm certainly not going to disrespect any man by calling him a boy, because I know better than that. But you got some dudes in the NFL that does need the impact of a Deion Sanders, and he could have a profound impact on their playing career as well as their lives overall.
Yeah, I.N.A. Smith makes one of the biggest points. You know, Deion's greatest attributes could really be useful in the NFL and at the Dallas Cowboys, just because a lot of these men are 25, 30 years old. It's still a lot of development, a lot of growth that you can give them to be successful in the NFL. I think that, again, Deion could go to the Dallas Cowboys along with both his sons. Ratings will go up, and it's also going to be a cash cow for a lot of people. And I'm sure that they'll have a better record than 2-7, which they just had. Is it ironic the head coach has just moved on? Is it ironic they're looking to trade the quarterback at the same time that Deion and Shedeur is becoming available? I want to hear from you. What's your thoughts? What's the likelihood of Deion Sanders going to the Cowboys? Is it a good move? We're going to follow this story. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Until the next time, family. Peace.